What's popping, y'all? If you haven't heard already, there's a bit of breaking news today. Basically, Baltimore's Francis Scott Key Bridge has collapsed after a ship has struck it. Just going through the actual collapse itself, this happened about 1:30 in the morning, and as you can see, it took out one of the support pillars and basically collapsed the entire bridge. Really just incredible just to see this video in person, because it's just like this is a catastrophic collapse. And what makes it all the more worse is that there are actual like people and construction crews on the bridge at the time of the collapse. Now, as I just stated, around 1:30 a.m., a vessel leaving the port of Baltimore struck the Key Bridge, causing it to collapse within seconds. And many people and officials have said that the crew warned of a power issue and sent out a mayday call right before the collapse. So there is indication that this is seen to be a terrible accident. There is no indication that this is some type of attack or any like pre emption of an attack coming forward. So there's that. Now, along with the construction workers, there was also several vehicles on the bridge at the time of the impact that plunged to water, which is right now or in the morning was measured at 48 degrees, really cold to cause hypothermia. And as of right now, only 2 people have been rescued. One was unharmed while the other remains in very serious condition at the hospital. So imagine what type of force that was going whenever it hit the bridge. Basically, it was traveling at 9 miles per hour, which in a car might not seem a lot, but when you think how much power it is to take, for a ship to travel that fast, with all the, cargo it has held, it takes a tremendous amount of force to do that. And so pretty much we're not talking about like a little a dink on the bridge. Now, going towards the most immediate issue, basically people are, in the water, trapped in the water. And so pretty much air, land, and sea rescue is currently underway by multiple state, local, and federal agencies, who are coordinating a massive search. They pretty much are searching the entire river. Now, going to the economic, history of the bridge and like why it's important, that's kind of like the secondary big issue of this bridge collapse. Basically, a lot of firms, a lot of companies have their warehouses in this port. Basically, Amazon, FedEx, are housed within the port. And while they've been saying there's like minimal impact of like this disrupting consumer goods, the port itself is not only the deepest port in Maryland's Chesapeake Bay. It is also closer to the Midwest than many other East Coast ports, especially New York, where a lot of trade volume is done up there, as well as the fact that it can reach that population within like overnight distance, and that is about 1/3 U.S. population in the Midwest. But again, to keep in mind, only 4% of the East Coast trade volume is done in that port, as opposed to New York, which has about like 38% or at least 38% more trade volume in their port. So when it comes to disruptions and stuff, you might not get disruptions on many big things. And currently, as the port stands right now, it is still processing the current ships that are already in the port. It's closed to any other ships trying to get into the port to do business. They're being rerouted onto other ports along the East Coast, probably to New York and other states and all that. And so it is closed to new ships until further notice. I don't know how the ships that are currently in there, how they're going to get out. I would imagine that they're going to try and like get these pieces out the bridge as soon as possible, because even though 4% of trade volume is done in Baltimore, it does put a hamper on business. So I think they're going to try and get this done as quick as possible. Bridge collapse is still a tragedy because there are people still trapped in the water, still people being rescued. And this could have been a more tragic incident if it took place maybe earlier in the day. And so I thank God that it wasn't, probably at rush hour traffic, and, it happened at 1:30 in the morning where people were actually like still at home and sleeping, and very few people were actually on the bridge when it happened. So I have prayers for the families who are affected. I have prayers that the workers are found. The economic impact is still going to be seen, as well as the federal government has already, issued that they got their support, as well Biden has already pledged that the federal government will help pay the bridge. I believe, like he said, he's going to commit all resources to fully pay the bridge, because like I said, this is a huge commerce area. This is a commerce issue, economic issue. So with that being said, that has been kind of like my thoughts on this bridge collapse. I'm gonna keep up to date about the information going forward in the next coming days, because a lot more will be coming out, and a lot more that we need to dissect in this bridge, whether there's an investigation like why the ship ship lost power and all that, you know, there are gonna be more kind of like eyes on that, and so I'll be here, you know, keeping my eye on it as well. But other than that, like, subscribe, turn on post notifications, all that wonderful good stuff. You want to see my video I did on Ron DeSantis yesterday, please right here, like it up, all that good stuff, and stay warm, stay frosty, depending on what part of your country you're in, and peace out.